Okay, welcome to online math class with Mr. Mazan. Today we're going to be doing chapter 34, decimal place value. And I was actually thinking about this on my way to work this morning. These problems are actually really easy if you understand the decimal point. All right, place value is determined, or everything in place value is in relation to the decimal point. So, whatever number is here is in the ones, directly to the left of the decimal. Whatever here is in the tens, hundreds, comma, thousands, so on and so forth. All right, then immediately to the right of the decimal, you have your tenths, and then you got your hundredths, and you got your thousandths, so on and so forth. All right, so if we have a number, let's say $3,425, 37 cents, and half a penny. Okay, that's your number, and you were asked which number is in the tens spot. Okay, a lot of kids, what they do is they start counting here, and they say, oh, here's the one spot, here's the 10 spot. But they're thinking about place value. They're thinking that place value is determined by whatever number is truncated here at the end. Okay, but you don't. Place value is not determined in relation to the end of the number. It's determined in relation to the decimal point. So you always look at it for the decimal first. In fact, write that down. Look for the decimal first. That's the first thing you should always do when you're trying to determine the value of a number. So, if you're looking for the number in a 10 spot, you look at the decimal first. Bang. Then you start counting over for your place value. So this would be the 1 spot, this would be the 10 spot. So the number in the 10 spot is 2. Okay? That's very important. So let's go on and talk about some different. Alright, so let's talk about place value in relation to the decimal. Okay? The value of a number is determined by where it is located in relation to the decimal point. So I wrote this in green. All right, we've already learned these. The number directly to the left of the decimal point is in the 1 spot. Number directly 2 spaces to the left is in the tens. Hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So let's go ahead and write numbers that represent these places. This would be the ones. This would be the tens, this would be the hundreds, this would be the thousands, this would be the 10,000s, and this would be the 100,000s. That's pretty straightforward. We've already learned this, so this is just review. Now the numbers to the right of the decimal point, you guys have seen before, but officially I am now teaching you that this is a tenth spot. And these decimals actually represent a fraction of a whole. Because if you have $1, it's represented by 1. But if you have a half a dollar or a tenth of a dollar, it would be represented by either a decimal in this spot right here, directly to the right of the decimal point. Or you could also write a fraction. So this would be 1/10. That number right here, if you were to convert this number into a fraction, it would look something like this. If you would, it's called the tenths. Notice I have the THS underlined there. That little suffix lets you know that this is a fraction. All right, this is in the hundredths, and a lot of times I emphasize that when I say it because if I'm talking fast and I say hundreds, you're like, what was that? Hundreds or hundredths? THS. So this would be represented by 1/100. Since it's hundredths, you're going to have 1/100. All right, 1,000, you guessed it, it's going to be 1/1,000. All right, so let's go ahead and do a couple problems that have these. I'm going to move my screen down some so that I have some more whiteboard to work with. So if you have a number, let's say, it's easy to start with money. So number 1. Let's go, give me the number that's in the tenths. THS in the tenth spot for this number right here. Let's say $4,537.29. What number is in the tenths spot? Well, you're going to look at the decimal first. That's the first thing you do. Then you have to know where the tenth spot is. If you look up here, the tenth spot is directly one space to the right of the decimal point. So one space to the right of the decimal point would be 2. 2 would be the number in the tenths spot. Okay? For that same number, what number would be in the hundredths spot? Well, the number in the hundredths spot is 2 spaces to the right of the decimal, so that would be 9. 9. Okay, so let's take this a little step further. Okay, so another problem, this is problem number 3. If you had a number, let's say 452.389, and the question asked you, what is the place value of the 9? 9. What is the place value of the 9? Alright, so that you're going to look up and say, okay, so the 9 is 3 places to the right of the decimal, so count 1, 2, 3 places to the right of the decimal, and you see that this is in the thousandths spot. THS, thousandths. So go ahead and write THS. Alright, so that is pretty much place value to the right of the decimal. It's really important to understand these because you're going to use those when you convert decimals to fractions, percents, all that kind of thing. So that's a big thing in this class, is learning how to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. So as you can see, there's fractions over here. So this is understanding this verbiage, saying it out loud, talking about it will help you understand how to make this little leap. I wouldn't say it's a quantum leap. It's not a big leap. But if you understand this, then that'll make conversions a lot easier when we get to that.